Hello, it's Dragabella. I have not made a video in quite a long time, but I have been doing a lot of studying and looking into things and, trying to educate myself on stuff that is a little bit more academic, but it's going to help me with the stuff that I am interested in practicing and doing and all of that. So, I've been learning some stuff about history, like as far as all the information and historical records regarding the record keeping about the patterns of our solar system and things like that. Because, you'd have anybody who's aware in any way at all about what goes on in the world and what is happening knows that there's been some really crazy weather patterns, volcanoes exploding, earthquakes, and because I plant every year and I also am always aware of the moon phases and the sky for my particular reasons of practice, I have noticed a lot of strange things that I've seen. And if you guys were regular watchers, I think about a year ago I recorded some stuff that was like falling out of the sky that me and my daughter saw on the way home one day. And because of the time I pick my children up, and it takes me a good 2 hours of being in the car, I'm in the car every day in the late afternoon, right before the sun starts to go down, and I've noticed some weird stuff, and so I tried to kind of think at first that I was just kind of imagining things, but I've noticed other people have noticed the same kind of thing. And, different channels have different purposes for talking about it. Like some are conspiracy theories about aliens. Some are for the purpose of Bible prophecy. Others are for finding out about what the government's doing, what people are hiding. There's all different channels for different reasons, but they all have the same idea of noticing stuff is not right. what the F is going on? It's just not right. The seasons don't come when they're supposed to. The weather is not the way it used to regularly be at regular intervals of time. You can't plan your life around things being the way they have always been. And, now, and then also with this mass extinction of species of animals, and I remember the last 2 years I've gone to the beach finding just dead stuff everywhere, and it's crazy. I found what we thought was a dog. I don't know if it wasn't a dog, because I've seen weird videos of these things that look like they're regular animals, but they're weird. There was a dead dog looking thing on the beach, and millions of dead jellyfish, and it's just really weird. And so I've been regularly watching, just looking, and yesterday it was a video by somebody who lives near where I do, and he said exactly what I saw. So I know I'm not crazy. Other people are seeing the same thing, and so I thought I'd make a video about it on my channel. Everybody who watches my channel is interested for the reason of the earth and planting and being in tune with that, and concern for nature and animals and their well-being. And so I don't know what exactly is going on, but I will tell you what I'm observing every day. Every day when the sun begins to set, all of a sudden I notice there's tons of planes. They just all of a sudden come and start spraying chemtrails. And I had never been really too concerned or aware of what chemtrails were until now, because I figured they had some reason and whatever. But now it's insane. It's not just a few chemtrails around the sky. It's they cover the entire area where the sun is setting. Like it just until you can almost not even see it at all. And it's weird. And then, so, that was weird. And I'm also noticing, especially yesterday, I'm looking directly at the sun. And I'm like, what the heck? I don't remember being able to ever look directly at the sun. And the other thing that was weird about it is the sun used to be yellow. Like, I don't know. Do you guys remember the sun being yellow, like, your whole life? Like, when you draw a picture of the sun, you draw a big yellow sun. But it was like, it was white. It was a white sun. And I'm looking straight into it, which isn't right. And so as I'm looking at it, I'm realizing it looks like the moon. Like, the light was not coming from this round object that was white that I'm looking at that's assumed to be the sun. And it looked more like the moon because the light was not coming out of it. It was something was lighting it up, so it was white and you could see it, but that was not the sun. There's no way. And so then I'm trying to figure out where the light is coming from. So I'm like, but they, because of the chemtrails and all the cloud looking stuff, you can't quite grasp it. You can see, and then when the clouds came over the area, I was able to kind of try to look really like better at it without hurting my eyes or anything. And next to where you can see the round object, whatever sun thing, there's something else that was bright and yellow that was making the light, but I couldn't quite see it. It was always like kind of obscured from view. And so what I've heard other people saying about this whole phenomenon, there's a bunch of different theories about what is happening. Some people think that the sun is dying, like our sun is just like not as bright as it used to be, or it's changing somehow, like how strong it's radiating, and that makes a kind of sense because, like, yeah, there's different. If it truly is like a burning ball of gases and all these kinds of things, sure, it's going to have some fluctuations, but not to like this extent, I don't think. And the other theory about it was that because of weather control, and yes, there are patents for certain things that like they have equipment that can control the weather to an extent. Like if there's a big event planned, they can do things that are going to cause the conditions to stay the way that they want it to be for that particular day. And there are, I think NASA, it does own a patent for a particular weather machine type thing, but I don't think yet it's like a legal thing for to be messing with the weather like regularly anyway yet, but who knows. And I know there's small artificial sun kind of things, but this would be like the whole world having a false fake sun, or some kind of weird, I don't know. The other theory is that there are planetary alignments happening that occurred thousands of years ago. There's some evidence in like Indian texts and historical records that right before some catastrophic event happened, which altered like a lot of stuff, like on the planet, like there was mass extinctions and things like that, and like whole civilizations wiped out, and they, it's kind of thought that maybe that alignment is happening again, and it's going to cause some major stuff like it's happening, like the earthquakes and volcanoes and all of that. And that does sound like it makes sense. And I do know that there are a lot of alignments happening that happened a long, and only twice in history were the alignments like they are now. And so I kind of buy that idea as far as why we're having all the earthquakes and volcanoes are starting to erupt and things like that, because from what I've learned about the scientific aspect, see, this is where I had to kind of brush up on my math and chemistry and astrology kind of knowledge, and so from what I know about how those things affect our planet, like when certain far away distant planets come closer, because you know how like when you do your natal chart, the far planets take a much longer time to come around, and it can be like a lifetime where it doesn't come close, but then eventually it will. And it influences a lot of things on Earth. That's why our natal charts can be read, and that's why certain characteristics can be attributed to certain planets. So apparently the reason for that is that each, just like the moon controls the tides, the planets have different pull, like from the magnetic forces and the forces of attraction and, you know, all those laws. So, apparently when these other planets get close to us, it affects the other planets also. Like, so the whole system, like where we're used to being like, you know, near, we have Mars, that's like our kind of close buddy and that kind of stuff, like the ones that are closer to the sun. But when the other ones that aren't usually around are suddenly close by, it causes like everybody to get kind of messed up. Like imagine having a nice little neighborhood where you're living, and then all of a sudden a giant building just kind of plunks itself in the middle of your street. It's going to cause you to kind of change your behavior and have to like move differently and like not want to bump into it and stuff, you know? And so apparently it affects things like not only the weather patterns and stuff like that, but the gravity and the gravitational pull, and the gravitational pull and things like that are what affects migration and where animals are able to find food. And because of some of the stuff, man-made problems, they can't kind of revert to maybe other survival tactics that they would have thousands of years ago, because they don't have that option anymore. Like they can't just migrate to another area at this point, because there's probably a city or a neighborhood or, you know, nothing there anymore. So that is a big problem, because where some species went extinct, you know, others either evolved in some way or found a way to survive somewhere else. They adapted. But adaptation is going to be a big problem if that happens. And the other thing that I have found out about is that the Fukushima nuclear explosion, or whatever it was, that happened in 2013 kind of got covered up like as being a big deal. But then they found out later that there was a huge hole in the containment thing, and that hole that was unnoticed at first meant that the radiation leaked into the earth, and it went into the water, and it's radiation doesn't stop. Radiation radiates, and it keeps going and affects everything, and it keeps like going further and further. And apparently that's the reason that the ocean is having these catastrophic die-offs, and things are just dying and washing up. And that's huge. That's like really scary to me, because like everything in the ocean is dying to like such an extent that I mean, how are we gonna, I don't know if we're gonna recover from something like that, you know? Like the fish are now have radiation even if they are living. So we're probably, if we eat fish, I mean, what are we putting in our body? How much radiation? Like they're not letting us publicly, they're not announcing this to the public, so we're not really knowing what's going on or being warned, you know, for our own safety and health. So I just wanted to make a video about this. I mean, I'm not claiming to know the answers or anything. I'm telling you guys what I've heard and read and found out so far. But I don't know. I just really don't know what to believe or think, but I definitely know it's weird. Something's not right. I'm seeing really messed up things that don't belong in the sky. And I'm looking at like clouds, and I'm saying clouds never looked like that. What the heck? Like the sky is just doing weird things. And then I'm seeing like these weird things falling and shooting across the sky, which I think are meteors probably, because that's what it looks like it is. But I don't know. I don't know how my plants are gonna do this year, and if the bees are gonna come, because last year it was a big problem. The bees were not pollinating the flowers, and so they were just not turning into vegetables. And I had a suggestion from a lady on here, and I put out sugar water for the bees who were apparently dehydrated, and they all came finally. And at the end of the season, once I did that, they did pollinate some of the flowers, so I got some late squash and late tomatoes and stuff. But we got to be aware of this stuff, especially people involved in spiritual matters, because a lot of people just don't care, or they're not interested in that kind of stuff. They're just interested in making money, going to work, having entertainment and pleasure, and not thinking about this. But this is a big issue, and it affects everybody. It's going to affect the whole world. And, whether you want to know about it or not, it's there. And who knows? Who knows how bad it's going to get, or who's doing it, or what. I don't even know if it's even real. Like, who knows? It could be like a planned thing to, like, make us think it's real, but it's not. Who knows? But this is a crazy world, and oh my goodness, now there's like a weird star in the sky or something. I've been seeing those too. Like, it looks like almost like a star comes out in the middle of the day for like a few minutes, and then it just like kind of fades away again. It's really weird stuff. I'd be interested to know if anybody here has been noticing some of the weird stuff. I know one of my witchy sisters actually posted a beautiful picture of something that she saw, and I believe it was like a rainbow around the sun. But that's one of the things that people are seeing too, like strange circle things and rainbows around the sun, or around like patterns in the sky that are just amazing, and they're beautiful, but like they're supposed to not happen very often. It's like a once every, but they're happening constantly now. Like, people all over the place are seeing these phenomenon. So anyway, that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been studying and noticing when I am not deathly ill from anemia. And hopefully I will get back on health track to have some nutrition in my body, but we'll see what happens. So I'm prohibitively late today. I'm over half an hour late picking my children up. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed my scary ass update, and blessed be. Bye.